And this is my public speaking class speech. Jesus isn't a fake. Almost everyone believes in Gandhi, Muhammad, and King Tut, but there is one person that everyone loves to believe is a fake, Jesus Christ. There have been statements and assumptions that his existence was merely made-up story, such as the fable Jack and the Beanstalk. Here's the catch that most people miss. There's archaeological evidence, historical evidence, and mountains of ancient historians who give the proof existence of Jesus Christ. The Bible is the foundation of Christian faith. Most everyone knows the Bible is based off Jesus Christ, his life, his miracles, and his salvation. But did you know Sir Isaac Newton, a serious Bible student who was known as a critic of ancient writings, examined the Holy Scriptures? So what did Sir Isaac Newton find in his study? I find, he says, more marks of sure authenticity in the New Testament than any secular history whatsoever. Jesus was a real person, that it had the impact on earth was his life and was felt immediately in the decades after Christianity spread worldwide. You know that the entire book is a piece of evidence itself, but let's look deeper at the physical evidence. One historian, A. Johnson, wrote years ago that, quote, "We have more evidence that Jesus died on Calvary, as stated in the Gospels, than we have that Julius Caesar died in the Capitol. We have indeed far more. Ask anyone who professes to doubt the truth of the gospel history what reason he has for believing that Caesar died in the Capitol, or that the Emperor Charlemagne was crowned Emperor of the West by Pope Leo III in 800, end quote. There are several archaeological sites that back up the existence of Jesus Christ. Bethlehem, the place where Jesus was born, is still in existence today. Capernaum, a town that Jesus visited very often, is under excavation. In this excavation, it also includes the synagogue where Jesus cured a man from an unclean spirit. Another finds in the excavation of Capernaum is the house of Peter, a follower of Christ. As at Peter's house, Christ healed Peter's mother-in-law and others. Chorazin was a town where Jesus preached in the synagogue. Kursi was where Jesus drove out the unclean spirits of a man in the grave and threw them into the swine. Tabgha is where the loaves and the fishes miracle took place. The list goes on. Caiaphas was the Jewish high priest who presided over Jesus Christ's trial and crucifixion. In 1990, the family tomb of Caiaphas was found while excavating a new water park theme in Israel. On the bone box, the carvings told the story of a much honored person within the Jewish religious circle. Also written twice on the box is Joseph, the son of Caiaphas. Based on historical records and Jewish tradition, the high priest of Jesus' time was commonly referred to as Joseph, but was referred to his family name Caiaphas. Josephus, an ancient historian, also refers to him as Joseph, who was called Caiaphas of the high priesthood. Cornelius Tacitus lived from AD 55 to AD 120. He was called one of the greatest historians in Rome in his time. He had many famous articles, but I'm only going to refer to one, the Histories. The Histories describe the period of time after Nero's death. Tacitus describes Nero's decision to blame the fire of Rome on Christians. Tacitus affirms that the founder of Christianity, a man he calls Christ, was executed by Pilate, the procurator of Judea during the reign of the Roman Empire, Tiberius. In 1961, Pontius Pilate's tombstone was recovered in Caesarea Maritima, an ancient Rome city on the Mediterranean coast of Israel. Jesus' procurator actually lived. Suetonius was another Roman historian and a court official during the same time as Tacitus. In the life of Claudius, he refers to Claudius expelling Jews from Rome on account of their activities on behalf of a man Suetonius calls Christ. Thalius and Fagon are both ancient historians that confirm that the land went black when Jesus was crucified. This statement parallels to what the Bible states. Physical proof exists in the form of testimony. In today's society, the testimony of a witness is considered admissible evidence in the court of law. The court will also enter written testimony as physical evidence. The testimony of a defendant can be considered proof as to his or her guilt, innocence, and the testimony of witnesses also considered proof for or against the defendant. So why won't the testimonies of so long ago point out the real facts to people? In conclusion, there are mountains of evidence that supported the existence of Jesus Christ. I haven't began to touch on all of the physical proof that this marvelous man did exist. There's archaeological evidence, historical evidence, and mountains of ancient historians who gives the account of Christ. With history, evidence, and physical accounts, how can you deny that Jesus Christ of Nazareth didn't exist?